welcome back for another episode of Schmac Talk. As promised, we are back with some NFL
Pro sports
action. Yes, some professionalism. Well, actually, professional sports. No professionalism by us. I mean, we're wearing t-shirts. But,
Lism? What's that?
what is that? But we'll start right away. In case you missed it, Aaron Rodgers has been in the news quite a bit lately. He does indeed have the Rona. And due to that, good old Jordan Love had to start against the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend. And you know what? He wasn't awful. I watched the game. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't good.
Yeah.
But he wasn't terrible. And he was making his first start.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I went into that with the mindset of Packers are going to lose. It's going to be okay. It's the NFL. It's not college. It's not like, oh my God, the season's over.
It's over, guys.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
So I wasn't too worried about it. But he didn't look awful. But, Aaron Rodgers struggling with the Rona. Actually, I shouldn't say struggling. He's battling the Rona. He said he's fine. But I just want to get your take on him saying that he's immunized. Like, what was your whole take on that entire scenario?
Part of me was just like, what? Like,
how are you immunized without having the vaccine?
Yeah, I was sitting there like, I mean, I don't know too much about like the whole science behind it, but like I know you can get like body immunization to certain things.
So I'll break the science down for you since myself and my fiance know it. So basically, when you get sick, your immune system makes antibodies.
Yeah.
Your immune system doesn't forget how to make those antibodies, and typically a couple of those antibodies are continuously in your body, and that's how, like, if you get the flu for a second time, it's typically not nearly as bad. So that's the whole antibodies. He was saying that he was taking antibodies, like he had he got them in like a serum, and he was taking them. Like he didn't just make them; he was taking them, adding them to his immune system, which I found interesting. I know it's a thing you could do, but I don't think that makes you immunized. Like
I don't think it works like that. Like, I feel like you have to have the actual like vaccine in order to be completely
build
immunized,
Well, and you're not even completely immunized. Like that's the thing, is that even if you have the vaccine, you can still get it. So
it's like, I mean, yes, it is less severe from what I've heard if you do get it, but like,
well, yeah, I mean that's the whole thing with shots. That's what they're made for. Like if you have the flu shot, you can still get the flu. It's not going to be as bad.
Yeah.
I just think the whole situation is very interesting. The thing that I thought was just hilarious is that he was like, I just want to make it known that like I know the cancel culture is like coming after me, and I was just like, it's there's such an issue when a professional athlete saying they're coming for me.
Yeah, like
can we just in sports stop that? Like
I think Aaron Rodgers is probably one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL for that reason.
He just cracks me up.
He's literally does not care what people think, and if people start trying to dog him, he's just like, oh no, oh no.
He basically laughs in your face. And
he's like, I don't even care. Like, what?
Well, he's like, in all reality, he's kind of like how we should be, where it's like, you have no impact on my life.
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to care what you think? But his status though for this week is still unsure. But when he is playing, as we know, the dude's just a bad dude. I mean, when they were playing the Bears, he scored a touchdown and told them, I still own you, to the fans. Who else can say that and get away with it?
Yeah. Like
think about that.
It's just a freak of nature when it comes down to it, honestly.
He is, but he doesn't look like it.
He doesn't.
Like, you're not like
he's like the hidden in plain sight superhero. Like you just don't even know he's there, but he's there, and he's a menace.
Yeah.
Like
he's just so stupid good. And I think really, if he didn't have to sit out because of COVID, And it's just an unfortunate situation. I'm more with that whole situation. I'm more upset with the Packers than with him, because my whole thing is, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's you. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna judge you for that. Um, but with that being said, there are protocols for people who are unvaccinated.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Packers didn't uphold him to that standard, and now we're dealing with this issue,
It's
that's
like,
where I'm upset about.
hey guys,
Like,
what?
it's
You
just
guys can't do that.
yeah, like, it's just make him follow the rules. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's above the rules. That's the only
Yeah.
issue I have with it. Like, if he doesn't want to get vaccinated, he doesn't want to get vaccinated. Simple as that. Um, but what's unfortunate is with him having to sit out, he'll probably be. I honestly, I mean, we're sitting here on a Thursday. I think he's gonna be out this week too. Um, no. So he's missing 2 weeks. I think it hurts his MVP status.
But I don't want
Do
to
you
see
think
him
he can
sit
still
out.
win it? Do you
I
think he can
think he
still win
probably
it?
could still win it. I
Okay.
mean, I think he is probably one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You know,
I mean, we talked
can
about this right
can
before we
you
started.
like
Like,
say Aaron? Okay, name. Well, damn, you're a freaking Green Bay fan, so I can't even say that.
what
But
are you
like,
gonna say? Let's
I was
go.
gonna say like name one like well-known Green Bay Packers wide receiver.
Oh wow, really? Devontae Adams? Like, wow, look at that. That's their
Okay,
number
but
one.
yeah, but
Are you
I
talking about like
like
who else is
and
on the roster?
yeah, like as
Alan
far as wide
Lazard,
receivers,
Randall
like
Cobb,
okay, Randall Cobb.
MVS.
Mm, I mean, no one. It's not like we have OBJ. You know.
Well, no, it's not like when the Browns, had, it's like, oh, you got Landry and OBJ, and then you
Yeah.
got Donovan Peoples-Jones as your slot. Like, it's not a setup like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's you have Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
That is it. Like, I do love the guys that the Packers
Yeah.
have, but like you said, like, that's one thing that's frustrated me for years is they don't have dudes
Yeah.
in the receiving core.
It's like yes, they are good, and they
They're
do
good, not
what they're
great.
supposed
That's
to.
what it
Yeah,
is. They're
exactly.
good. They're good. They're not great. They're good.
Like imagine Aaron Rodgers with Gronk, freaking Juju, like
Are you telling the Packers who to go after in free agency? Is that what's going on here? I think
yes.
tight
Build a
end wise they're
super
fine.
team. Build a super team
I see where we're going with
around
this. I see where
Green
we're going with
Bay.
this. So speaking of super teams, so I think that ties into the hot take that we heard. So I heard a couple days ago someone say Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady. He can win with anybody. Tom Brady needs the Avengers.
Yes, I agree.
And I never thought about it until I heard it. And then I was like, holy shit.
It's one of those things where it's like you don't think it until you're like,
You're like, oh my
now
gosh,
that you've said that,
you're
kind of
right.
true. Like Tom Brady, if he doesn't have at least two or three like set dudes, then he's not that great.
Well, and I'm sure that some guys will come out and be like, so you're saying Julius Edelman is like a top receiver? Well, also let's think about, and I'm blanking on the other white receiver he had,
Gronk?
Amendola. Those aren't
Yeah,
like, those aren't OBJ or Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams guys. But also, when those guys were your go-to receivers, you had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez as your tight ends. And
yeah,
although Aaron Hernandez is a terrible human being who's no longer with us, he's a hell of a football
yeah.
player.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you have the top two tight ends in the league at that time, you can afford to
You
have,
can't be stopped. You can
yeah,
have those mid-grade wide receivers, like
yes.
because honestly, when it comes to NFL football, I've noticed that it's not so much about your receivers, it's about your tight ends, and that
Hmm.
makes the team great.
Yeah, because you can have above average receivers with a great tight end, and it's what do we do?
Yeah.
But if you have fantastic receivers with an average tight end, you can only do so much with your
Yeah.
offense. So absolutely, I completely agree with you there. But we're talking. He might not have had like super teams when he was in New England, And I think that's partially because Belichick
Yeah.
is like, I'm not going to write a check for that.
Yeah.
Because Belichick loves his defense, and that's also why
They were
he
so
won.
good.
Yeah, like when you can stop the other team. But when you look at the offense that he has down in Tampa, you got some pretty good receivers and tight ends. So, I mean, off the top of my head, what he's got: Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and then Gronk and OJ Howard. If those are my
Yeah.
top 5 targets, I mean, I'm pretty confident with my potential production. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, AB, the psychopath. Yeah, I said it. Dude is nuts. Okay.
Yeah. Those are pretty. Yeah.
They're
Like
pretty
those
good.
are the go-tos.
Like, it's pretty darn good. When those are your top 5, targets, you're going to win a lot of games. And then, contrary, you look at, who the Packers have. It's not somebody with Godwin's speed. It's not somebody with Antonio Brown's overall, just game, right? And it's not somebody that can go up 1v1 like, Mike Evans. I think Devontae Adams is the closest to like a Mike Evans.
Yeah,
He
I'd
has
agree with that.
some speed to beat you downfield, but he's not like OBJ. And I think that's what frustrates me with this whole OBJ thing. In case you guys missed it, he was released by the Browns.
Yep.
I think he is a prima donna.
Yeah.
I'm not about, bringing cancers in, but when you have a struggling receiving core in regard to talent and he shows interest in you, I think you have to make that happen. I don't care what the check is. I think you have to make it happen because you can't sit here and tell me, oh, if Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams and OBJ as his top 2 receivers, they're going to lose. Like, they're going to win the Super Bowl if you give them that, especially with how good Aaron Jones is as a running back.
Like, and I feel like the one thing that always happens with Green Bay is they're never like full health when it comes
No,
to
when it comes to
the
postseason,
playoffs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you just brought up the health, and their starting tight end is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So
Like,
you really needed another receiver.
yeah, like you have to replace that. You can't just like, I mean, in their case, they can hope for like their second string to like glow up and just be like, hey, it's my turn to take over and become the absolute GOAT. But
Well, I think
I don't know if I see that happening.
we're gonna see a glow up just because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. He's gonna make them look better. Like, I like the receiving core that the Packers have. It's just I know that they need that true number 2.
Yeah. If they have
They have really good 3s and 4s. Yeah, like they just need another go-to guy because if you had someone like, OBJ and Devontae Adams, you can only double team one of them. You can't double team both of them or somebody's open over the middle. So it'll be interesting. He didn't go to the Packers. He was also eyeing the Chiefs. And he ended up going to the Rams out on the West Coast. So going to LA, which I found interesting because, as we know, the Rams have Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be a 1. You're not going to be a 2. You're going to be their number 3.
Yeah.
And, on paper, it's like, wow, the Rams are like, they're going for broke, right? They just traded for Von Miller.
Yeah.
And then they just signed a check to get OBJ. So they're going for Super Bowl or bust, which I think would be really interesting to see. Rams Cowboys NFC Championship game. I think it'd be interesting to see Rams Packers. I would love to see my Packers get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm going to root for them, but I think a Rams Cowboys NFC Championship game would be really fun to watch. I just imagine that. Like, who you got in that? With the addition of OBJ to the Rams, who you got? And Von Miller to the Rams.
Yeah, honestly, I still got Rams.
If you give me the Cowboys of last week, then I'm taking Rams. The Cowboys who lose to the Broncos. Exactly. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams.
Like, first, like, okay, yes, Cowboys are stacked. All right, like
They always are. That's
they
the
have the
issue.
roster. They
Hmm.
don't have the coaching staff.
Well, you don't believe in McCarthy?
No, no, shit
No.
hasn't changed.
He-
I'm
he-
still opposed to McCarthy. Like, no,
I
no,
I think
no.
the thing for me, I would love to watch it just because I think that would be that it'd be fun to watch because it'd be a good game,
Yeah,
and B, it's two actually like historic franchises. And for some people who'd be like, oh, the Rams aren't historic. Yeah, they are. Okay, they were called the greatest show on turf for a reason.
yeah.
They went from LA to St. Louis,
Marshall Falk.
Orlando Pace. Like, I mean, the Rams are historic. They started in LA, they went to St. Louis, they went back to LA. But I just think that would be really cool because it'd be like you could do the whole story about, think about the greatest show on turf, think about when Aikman, Smith, and Irving were at the Cowboys. Like, this is a lot of like
Yeah,
good history, but I don't, it would also be a good game. But I think right now, with the inconsistency that Cowboys have kind of shown, and I know the Rams have shown inconsistency, I'm gonna take the Rams in that
yeah.
in that matchup because Matthew Stafford is a dog.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
He
Yes,
was
sir.
so good for Detroit forever. And
And
nobody talked about him because he was
yeah,
in Detroit.
yeah. I mean,
But
Detroit.
he's so good.
Once Megatron left, Detroit went downhill.
And it's so frustrating. Like, you bring that up and it's like he probably had like three more like really good seasons in him.
Yeah,
It was just he wanted I respect it for
yeah.
why he retired. But
He's like, yeah, I want to get out now.
yeah, he's like, my health is my concern. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know what? More to you, but man, like Calvin Johnson, you guys could have done something.
disgusting, dude. He is one of those receivers that just like sticks out in my mind.
Well, he
Like,
sticks out in everybody's mind. I feel so bad for the kids growing up now because I don't think there's anybody like that in the league
yeah,
currently. So the kids growing up right now, they don't know like legitimately how good Calvin Johnson was. Like we knew that watching it,
yeah.
growing it up. We're like, what? But when you
He's
have
called
two,
Megatron for a freaking reason.
but
Like,
when you're talking about double teaming a guy, when you had two cornerbacks lined up on the line, it's not the whole like the safety's going to give you help over top and you double team him.
yeah,
It's you legit had two guys on the line lined up right in front of him, legit double team.
yeah.
Like, like
And guess what?
he still
Still
won.
scoring
I know.
every
Oh,
time. Every time.
oh my gosh. He's just, oh my gosh.
Like, he is one of those receivers that if I feel a lot of people overlooked, kind of just because it was like Detroit and they
Because it
weren't
was
a top
Detroit,
dog, but like,
and he didn't play as long as other
yeah,
guys. But like when
him
you watch the film,
and Matthew Stafford together,
come out of
that
retirement.
is syncrasy right there.
Come out of
That is
retirement.
syncrasy. Like, put them
Oh
on any
man.
team, greatest comeback ever.
Yeah. But I would
I
just
want to see this now. I want to see it so
may,
bad.
maybe OBJ now being able to be a little bit more flexible because again with those three top receivers you can put them all on the field. Like
Yeah.
I know everyone's got to eat, but you can't double team any of them. Maybe we'll see a little mini Megatron with OBJ because we know what he was like when he was in New York.
Yeah.
He was stupid good. So we'll see. I find it very interesting. I think the Rams are going for broke. They're
Yeah.
like, it's Super Bowl or bust, which
Time to go.
in today's society, that's what you got to do is to stay relevant. But
Yeah.
staying on the West Coast,
Don't
we
tell me.
got to talk about it. We don't have to, but we're going to touch on it. In case you missed it, unfortunately, Henry Ruggs, former Alabama receiver. Yeah, I'm going to throw it out there. Ruthless. Okay. Unfortunately, he is under investigation, dealing with some legal stuff, as he was driving 156 miles per hour under the influence, and unfortunately hit a car, burst into flames, and it killed somebody.
Yeah.
And clearly Delilah did not like me talking about it.
Too soon.
I want to touch on it because what I heard was that this was not the first time that he has been driving over 150 miles per hour. There were multiple videos on his girlfriend's YouTube account of him driving over 150 miles per hour. And my resources told me that the NFL has partnered with Uber that they can get free rides home in every team city.
Yeah.
And I just think we need to learn from this and hold professional athletes more accountable.
Yeah.
Because I think some of them get away with some stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're constantly driving 150 miles per hour, there's an issue and cops need to be involved.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm one of those people, like, you know, if you're driving that type of speed, like, you know, you're taking a very large risk
oh
with it,
yeah, not just
because
for your
you're
life, but for
like,
others.
cars are not meant to brake like they need to at those speeds, just because
No.
it's one of those things where, you know, most of the time, you know, oh, I want to go fast. I want to go fast. Okay. So you want to go fast. So you take that extra like quarter mile to get up to that certain speed. And
Mm-hmm.
then you run out of space and you got a curve coming up, go to hit the brakes. You're
Yeah,
going to flip.
but
Like,
it's also, I think that is a good thing to bring up, especially, your reaction under the influence is
yeah,
even worse.
worse. Yeah.
But also, everyone wants to go fast, but no, like, you're not trained like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
Your instincts, your reactions aren't as quick as theirs. And even though there's a lot that goes in cars, like the cars are safe, right?
Yeah.
Like the cars today are a lot safer than they were even when we were growing up.
Yeah.
But the body of the car is not built like a NASCAR car. Like
No.
NASCAR, those race cars do not have an airbag, but they have a very, very strong roll cage.
Yeah.
We don't see that in sport cars today. So
Yeah.
like if you have a car that you're driving really, really fast, you got to realize like you're not Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might want to go fast, but you know, you got to do it within limits. You know, you can't go out and do crazy stuff like that. You have to
Yeah.
follow the rules. And
Yeah. I mean, my only thing, because I don't want to like spend too much time on it, but I just hope that, he is held to the same standard
yeah,
as
yeah,
everybody else. Like he gets the punishment that, you or I would get if we did that. Like I hope there's no, oh, well, he played for the Raiders, he played at Alabama, he's an NFL player. Like I hope there's no treatment like that.
yeah. And
So
plus, like, you're doing 156, like most states, that is like
I
failure
think it's
to,
it's like considered drag racing too. In
yeah,
some states, it's like you're racing on public property, which is
yeah, which is highly
illegal.
illegal. And if you're doing that under the influence too, we're just racking up the bill. And like, my biggest thing is like, you know, I don't really, as much as I want to say like have a problem with people driving fast. Like if you're trained and you know how to handle a car when you're off using it at those speeds,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't have a problem with you doing that in a safe location
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But like
but when you're on a
if you're
public road,
public road under the influence too, like I don't care who you are, if anyone did that, like that's
yeah,
just irresponsible, you know. I get
yeah.
accidents happen and stuff,
But it
but
could have been completely avoided,
it could have been
especially,
avoided if you weren't under the influence. And you
yeah.
know, you
Well, I
just
think
called an
what,
Uber or something. Like,
yeah, yeah. It's so unfortunate, and it's unfortunate on so many levels. Somebody lost their life,
yeah,
and a young budding star is now his NFL career is over
yeah,
because he made a stupid decision.
exactly.
But moving to much happier news, we're talking about the worst thing of the show right there. Now we're gonna get to the best thing of the show. For all
The
of you,
Astros lost.
you
I
didn't let me
had
do
to
it. Did
do.
you? In
Let's
case you-
go.
in
Let's
case-
go.
In case
I don't think you're ready for this L.
Oh man! In case
Thank
you
God.
missed the World Series, in case you're a baseball fan, the Trash Stros, they did lose, and I was upset that the Braves did not win it in Atlanta
Yeah.
because that would have just been so amazing. But I think it was even better the fact that they lost at Houston. I think that's just. It was just amazing.
It was
It's
one of those
just-
things where it's like, honestly, I was thinking about it and I was like, I am not mad right now. I was like,
But-
I'm kind of happy this is in Houston because, you know, yeah, just take
Send
the
them
L at
home.
home. Like,
Send
come
them
on.
home. It's just I hope that baseball fans, like, I know there's some media people who are like, oh, it's time to move on. And I think, you can't hold a grudge. But when when the team does not get punished,
Yeah.
when the team does not get a World Series taken away, when a player who had a split line of hitting over 300 at home and just above like 150 on the road gets MVP, and you prove that he cheated and you don't take that away, when all of that happens, none of the players get suspended. I just hope baseball fans and the rest of the franchises refuse to let the Astros forget.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be okay if it was like to the extent of Houston sells the Astros and they relocate and rebrand. I'd be fine with that.
I mean,
It's not
I
gonna
don't know if
happen.
they'll do that just because
Oh no,
they've
never
been
happen.
a top dog. So it's like,
I just want Manfred to acknowledge the fact that they legitimately cheated and that they don't deserve that trophy.
yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things like, if you're going to cheat like that, like no one from your team should win any awards.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't keep any awards won during that season. Like, I know that kind of sucks for like personal awards and stuff.
Yeah, but if you
you're
participated in the
part of
cheating,
a
like, get out of here. Yeah.
team, like, bro, like
The few ruin it for the many.
yeah, like freaking Brady. Like, come on, dude. Deflategate. Come on.
You're not over that.
No, still not.
See,
over
I can
that.
get over that more than using buzzers and trash cans and video cameras. Like,
Yeah,
legit cheating.
yeah. I mean, I'm as much as I say, like, I'm not over Deflategate. Like, I don't care at this point because it's like so old that it's just like, oh, ha ha ha, Deflategate. Like, remember
Yeah.
when? Like
Yeah.
you'll hear the occasional joke and it's funny.
Well, it's like, I think you
like,
can joke about that, but you
Yeah.
can't, like, with Houston. I think this is where you're getting, like, you can't joke.
Yeah, it's literally like, oh, we full on cheated.
Yeah.
We went out and like got cameras
Yeah.
and
Had a live
everything.
stream to our dugout so we could see. We had radios so we could tell like, that's the thing that frustrates me. So looking back on it, it it makes me so happy to realize that the last two times that the Astros were in the World Series, they lost. And it's two, like, you look at the Nationals and the Braves, it's two franchises that you really can't hate. And those teams that won it had really, really good guys on them. Like, you know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah,
there's nobody more deserving than the Nationals and Braves to beat the cheaters themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
I'm just happy that the Astros lost because, yeah, especially just at home, just the little icing on top.
It's so amazing.
Oh, like I
And
don't,
the Braves dominated them.
I
Like, that
know.
entire series. Like,
like,
I think
I was surprised they went that long.
yes. I think nobody's really talking about, especially with, the World Series is now, I think, like a week and a half removed. So now everybody's like in full basketball, football mode.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was talked about enough. The fact that I believe it was Charlie Morton had a broken leg and pitched on it for like another 2/3 of an inning.
Mhm.
And what makes it even better is that he came out after he struck out Altuve. And the fact that he's been very adamant, because he was a Houston Astro, and he's
Yeah.
been very adamant of the pitching staff didn't really do anything with the whole cheating, and that he was not okay with it. That's why he wanted to leave, when
Yeah.
his contract was up. So I just love that he gets his revenge on the former team, but also I think it's worth I think it's worth noting that the Braves did this without Ronald Acuna Jr., without their all-star center fielder. Just think about that for a second.
So when I heard he was out, I definitely thought they were going to go deep. I was figuring they'd probably make it to at least the NL playoffs, but
Weren't thinking World Series.
I wasn't thinking World Series. No,
I mean, I wasn't either. Because I mean, when you
they literally came in and just dogged, and the losses were just hits that you can't do much for.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't too much on their end of a lot of errors.
No, they play sound baseball. It was very
clean, and I'm
very
just
fun to watch. Very team oriented.
That's the kind of baseball I like, and
yeah,
you don't see that too often
nowadays. No, unfortunately. But I think it's really, you gotta tip the cap to the players. Tip the cap to the coaching staff for what they were able to do with those players. But also, acknowledge that the GM and the front office, like, they went out and
they
made
put a lot of work in to get those players there, to get that coaching staff there, to get
but also,
every staff member there.
oh
They were all there for a reason.
But also, Acuna Jr. goes out, and like you said, it's like, well, maybe our end goal is not the same. But they went out and they said, you know what? No, we have the rest of the team. We're gonna be good. Like, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get some role players for the outfield, and we're gonna figure this out. And that's exactly what they did. They traded with the Royals. They traded with the Indians. They traded with the Marlins, and they got guys who, I mean, looking at that team, I was like, if I'm a Braves fan, I want that entire team back, and I want to add Acuna to it. And if they could do that,
disgusting.
If they can do that,
that's too good. That is too good.
If they can do that, I'm pushing for the NL to get rid of the pitchers hitting and give me a DH, because that team right there will wreck anybody.
I don't think people understand. I wasn't really big into following too much baseball for a while, but then COVID hit, and I was like, I don't know what else to do, so I kind of got into
the only thing on. So
yeah, so it's like, I'll watch it. Let's see what's going down. And the Braves,
they just have guys that you
I feel
end up liking.
Slept on.
Oh, absolutely. But again, they have guys that you're just like, those are good guys. They're not showy.
Yeah.
They play it like Freddie Freeman has been, everyone acknowledges that he's really good, but I still think he's been overrated in his career.
I agree.
Austin Riley is far better than what people give him credit for. Dansby and Ozzie up the middle is ridiculous. Darno behind the plate is slept on. And I think, Acuna Jr. in center field, obviously everybody knows how good he is, but the other outfielders, it's like, they're still good. Like Soler's good. He's more of a DH, but he's good. Rosario, they went and traded for him for a reason. They went out and got Adam Duvall back for a reason, which I love Duvall.
Yeah.
So they are slept on. I think they are slept on. I think people saw that matchup and they're like, even though they're like, oh, who's going to win? I think majority of people are like, the Astros got this. And to see the Braves say, no, I
we're
am the
top.
captain now.
Yeah. This is my boat now. Get the
Like it was just so amazing to see, and I hope people continue with banging the trash cans in the stands
oh
next year.
yes.
And I hope that the chant from Boston continues as Altuve's up to bat, because I don't want baseball to forget this.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things that like it just looks bad for everyone.
It looks bad for the
Like,
sport.
yeah, like I mean that's anything. Like if you have a big like steroid outbreak in the NFL or a big steroid outbreak in the MLB or any sport or any kind of like cheating or anything along those lines, it's just you're like why like you can't try and just win like normally play like the rules
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's like yeah, I get you're trying to get an upper hand to oh we got to be better, but like
But it's like within the rules, like
yeah,
let's chill.
like
But
because I hate baseballs come to literally like home runs or strikeouts.
yeah. But
It's
that's what, like, I think that's what I really like about postseason, is that postseason really is the situational stuff.
yeah,
It's just frustrating that
that's
it's
what it
not the
matters.
entire season
I
is like that.
know.
You know, like the postseason is really fun to watch because it is situational stuff. I think that's similar to like what people say about the NBA is, you know, there's no defense in the NBA. And then once the
Yeah,
postseason comes, you're like,
you're
oh
like
my
oh
gosh,
my
these
god,
guys are,
Kyrie, what are you? Oh
it's,
my god,
it's like
we're Wizards.
everyone's, yeah, exactly. Everyone's flying around everywhere. So it's just, especially with those two leagues, I think that consistency needs to come. But you know, we get another off season of baseball of Astros not being on top, and we can celebrate. And
Much
I love it.
love, much
I
love.
just I just love it. It's just
It's
awesome.
just one of those things that's so nice to. It's almost like a breath of fresh air. You're like, wow, you guys cheated.
And you
Oh, you
didn't win.
lost.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like, oh,
Oh,
karma.
you lost at home. Oh wow, that's sucks.
It's just karma, man. So content.
Dude, I'm like really relaxed. Should we start like ranting about something? Like, I don't know what to
No,
do right
no.
now.
I think we should end on this, which you might start ranting by this. This is gonna be our last point, and then we'll let you guys go and enjoy whatever day you're listening to this on. But keeping it within MLB, I completely forgot about this until I looked at the prep sheet. PETA.
Ah,
I think this is gonna be a good note to end on. This is gonna make us laugh. In case you missed it, PETA, they're not suing the MLB, right? Like they're petitioning.
I
I
think it's
forget.
just petitioning right now, but
They
I
are making a
think they'll threaten
movement.
it.
Yeah, like they're making a movement um to change the bullpen. So in case you guys didn't know, the bullpen is where the pitchers warm up. They want to change the bullpen because the name bullpen is offensive to cows. I'm not kidding you, that was their reasoning. You can look it up. They wanted to be named the Arm Barn instead. Which honestly, I think is kind of funny. I don't mind the arm barn. I think it's
I
like I
think
think
it's
it's really
funny,
funny.
but like I don't think it's gonna change that we call it the bullpen. You know?
No, like I think the arm barn is hilarious, but I don't think we
Yeah,
should change it. I
yeah.
mean, okay, seriously, what's the bullpen doing?
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that it's
Oh, it's so offensive. Like
it's a
that's. Do you
it's
know what it's like to
offending
be in a
cows.
bullpen? Have you
Well,
ever
it's
been in a bullpen? Yeah,
well, it's just
it's
like
not fun.
we're talking about offending cows.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's
but
not gonna happen.
like
I think
I
the arm
get
barn's
cows have
hilarious,
feelings like everyone else,
but their brain, I'm sorry, cows are smart.
but
I'm not
like
gonna
we
say
don't
cows are stupid.
communicate with them. They don't
No,
communicate
but
with
also
us.
their brain is not
So
complex enough in order to be like, oh, that's called a bullpen. That offends me. Like,
yeah,
no, you can't legitimately tell me that. So that's why I believe it shouldn't happen. But I
yeah.
think the thinking
Arm
about calling it,
barn.
it's so funny though, because that's really what it is.
Yeah,
It is an arm barn. That's like the
yeah,
fact that it took us this long to think of something called the arm barn blows my mind. It just pisses me off. That's from PETA.
yeah.
That's all it is. It just pisses me off. That's
Why
from
didn't we think
PETA.
of this sooner?
Like I'm
What
like,
if that was the
wow,
original name for the bullpen?
the
It was
arm
gonna be the
barn
arm barn, but then like two people
or
were like,
like the arm
"Dude,
pen
that's
or something like
stupid.
that.
Let's call it the
I would
bullpen
I would love to
because that's
know.
where
Like,
the aces are."
well,
It's like, oh, okay, wait, what?
I would love to know why the bullpen's called the bullpen. So
Yeah,
if there's anybody out there, like I'm not gonna look it up right now because I don't.
but like,
I'm just
let
not
us know in the
going to.
comments. Send us a
But
link,
like
please.
seriously,
I'm
like
actually kind of curious now
I would
about that.
love to know if there's any history, like baseball history buffs out there that know why the bullpen's called the bullpen. I would love to know, and I would also love to know what your what your take on the arm barn is. Do you think we should
I
change
think it's
that?
funny.
Do we
I think
not?
it's
I think it's
funny. I
hilarious,
don't
but
think
I
they'll
don't want to
change it,
change it.
but yeah,
I think it's hilarious, but I don't want to change.
I don't think we need to cancel culture it, but
Not in baseball.
yeah,
Not in America's pastime.
it's America's pastime. But then I'm also like Americans pastime, not the best.
Don't think about that. Just think about the Sandlot and Happy Times.
Oh, Sandlot. Okay, bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Benny
All
the
right,
Jet
I'm down
Rodriguez.
for it.
Benny
Benny
the
the
Jet
Jet
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
All
He's got a
right.
huge lead off of third.
I think he might
He's
be.
stretching it. I don't believe my eyes. He's stealing home. He's stealing home.
Oh my gosh.
Classic.
I think on that note, we'll see you guys later. Be sure to tune in. There won't be any more baseball, since unfortunately we gotta wait until spring training for that.
I think once
But
that picks up, though.
yeah, I mean, definitely, stay tuned if you're looking for the NFL. I'm sure crazy stuff will happen this weekend,
Oh yeah.
especially with the AFC North race heating up with them Ravens, Browns, and Bengals all tied currently. But also make sure you're on the lookout for any of those non-sport episodes coming your way because we have been slowly but surely putting together a list of movies that we want to talk about.
Hey, you guys aren't ready for it.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for
Get your
this.
popcorn. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out.